What's going on, family? Welcome back to another fantastic video with Makaiza. Today, let's talk about why our relationships tend to fail. So why do our relationships tend to fail? Why do you think? Well, before we even get started, always remember to like and subscribe to the videos. Follow me on IG, Facebook, Instagram. Get all that stuff over with before we even get started. So that way you can keep up with the continual content that I'll be putting out as DSL and Makaiza. Let me fix my camera for a second. Okay, so if it starts to lean to the side, just ignore it. Don't worry about it. Now, listen, this is all for adults. Okay, so if you're a child, please click off. Sometimes there are explicit words used and examples that are not kid friendly, and I want to make that abundantly clear. If you're an adult watching this and your kid's around, turn the volume down. Maybe scoot them out the door. Say, hey, give me 10 minutes, baby. Do something like that. And then number 3, you're an adult. So if you decide to take any of this advice or information or, little tags that I may be giving out to you and you apply it to your life, well, you're responsible for those results, okay? Because you decided to choose something and use it in your life. Now, no matter what, there's always going to be consequences. And that's actually leading me right into what we're going to talk about. Consequences is number 1. Our relationships fail because we fail to recognize the consequences of our actions, our words, and sometimes even our thoughts. So what do I mean by that? Look, there's so many different stories out here about people failing in their relationships because someone didn't tell them something that was extremely important and they felt as though they lost trust with that person. That loss of trust with that one incident led into a snowball effect of finding other things not to trust this person with. And in finding those other things, the relationship, the communication, everything just starts to crumble and fall apart, right? We hear about these types of stories, not too often, because people don't necessarily put the two things together, that it was a breakup of the communication. Okay, so the communication has much, much more to do with body language, facial expressions, and tonality than words. Words, we all should know this by now. And if you don't, please fact check it and look it up somewhere. Words are only 7% of communication. Words are only 7% of communication. So what's the rest? What's the other 100%? Well, about 85%, I'll tone it down to 80. 80% is body language in the face. And then the other 15% is tonality. 80% body language, facial expressions, 15% tonality and how you say things, and 7% words. So what should we really be focused on in a relationship? More likely, our body language and our tonality and how we say things. Thought something was crawling on me. Y'all was about to get a good look at something. Okay, nothing's down there. We're good. So if we have to break it down into something so simple, we know that we have to focus on our body language more than anything. Now, let's say we're in a romantic relationship. This includes touching, how you touch the other person. This includes facial expressions. If they're expressing something that may seem a little deep or something that's really emotionally touching them, you want to have a facial expression that doesn't indicate I'm not listening to you, or I don't agree with what you're saying. You want to have those facial expressions and open body language to tell that person subconscious who's speaking to you that, hey, I'm an open book. I'm receiving what you're telling me. Eye contact has to be on point for sure. Don't stare them down. Don't just stare at them the whole time like this. But keep it at least light. Make sure that you're looking in their eyes when they're talking to you. When they look away, you look away. When you can feel them look back at you, look back at them. Squint your eyes a little bit. Nod your head. If they're saying something a little funny, and even if you don't find it funny, smile a little bit. Because what that all indicates to the subconscious mind, which is really what's operating everything, is that, hey, this person is listening to me. I have someone in front of me who cares about me, who I feel like I can trust just because their body language is indicating to me that. They're trustworthy. I want to be more vulnerable with them. And I do this all the time in my relationship because it helps. That doesn't mean that it's always going to work, okay? That does not mean that each and every time that you have the perfect body language, perfect tone, perfect words coming out of your mouth, that the communication is going to be received in such a way. But you have a better chance. That's all we want, is a better chance at this thing, right? We're not trying to be perfect here. And that's a fault that I've had for most of my life, is attempting to be perfect. When realizing that perfection is something that I am not, nor will I ever be, oh, a weight was lifted, baby. A weight was lifted. And I suggest that you do the same exact thing for your partner. And that leads me to number 2. Find things about your partner that are faults in your eyes, but you love them, those faults anyway. When I learned this made so much sense to me. When we start to date someone, or we get into a new relationship, and even if we've been with somebody for some years, we start to learn things about them that we didn't know before. However, we shouldn't be too surprised, because everybody has faults. No person is perfect. I don't care if you're Angelina Jolie and what's his name, Brad Pitt, or was it Brad? I don't know who it was. But those two were seemingly the perfect couple. Will and Jada Smith, those are seemingly the perfect couple. And when we see that perfect couple, we think that means that, hey, they love every single thing about each other. There's nothing wrong with either one of them that they argue about or that they disagree on. They have the same exact beliefs. They understand their kids the same exact way. They parent their kids the same way. They do the same things, right? That's not true. It's a facade. It's fake. It's phony. It's BS. But what we see is real to us. So we expect that in our relationships. But when I noticed that I was looking at the faults of my loved ones, and this includes paternal relationships as well, people that you are not necessarily dating, just family members or friends. When you see the things that you don't like about these people and they start to emerge more and more and more, the deeper that the intimacy goes with them, you have to be willing. It's really being willing to accept the faults that you find in this other person. It's being willing to accept the discrepancies that you were not given when you first signed up for the job. Right? So find faults in your partner or in anyone that you truly love and care for, that you like. Like I think for instance, I'm going to speak for Rebecca for now, because her and I are so close that I'm pretty sure I'm correct on this. If I'm wrong, baby, comment below and let them know. Let me and them know. But one thing that Rebecca sees, I'm sure, as a fault, she has never expressed it to me, but I'm sure she sees it as a fault, is how much I talk. I talk a lot. I've even had to admit to her multiple times that I get tired of the sound of my own voice. I make videos. I do Instagram. I mean, I'm always fucking talking. Always. And it's gotta be annoying. If I'm annoyed by my own fucking voice, imagine how my baby feels. She probably is very well versed in annoyance with Makaiza's voice, where I'm just coming to really be annoyed with it because I'm doing more. So because of the fact that she's never even voiced it to me and said, hey babe, your voice is so annoying, or, you know, can you just shut the fuck up? She's never done that to me, ever, except for in an argument or something, of course. But she's never done that to me. And what that says to me is that it's a fault that she's learned to love about me. And that opened my eyes a lot when realizing this. It's amazing when you can find faults in people that you actually like. You think it's a bad thing, right, when it's first introduced to you. And then it ends up being pretty cool. And it ends up being something that you're like, okay, that, you know, that's how they are. And I love that part about them. So if anyone else were to talk shit and say Makaiza talks too fucking much, or she's loud and she's annoying, her voice, her tone, all that shit's annoying, I know that my baby has my back, because she loves that part about me, even though it's deemed as a fault. So we took away 2 things from this. What were they? I'm asking you. Coffee, baby. Yes, I'm asking you. What were the 2 things we took away from this? No, honestly, I can't remember the first thing. What was the first thing? The first one was, oh, the building of trust, right? Trust building, was that it? Honestly, I can't remember, guys. I'm so sorry. Normally I have it written down. You see them in my car. Shit, guys, I totally forgot. But either way, I know that you took something away from it. Rewind this motherfucker and find out. Look, I forgot. But either way, like, subscribe, comment, share your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. I'm an open book, baby. You know that. I'm very transparent, very, what is it? I'm not intrusive upon other people, but you are basically intrusive in my life because I express a lot with you guys on here. But either way, I love you very much. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. Okay, I went back and watched the video, and the first thing was the communication. Remember, we said 80% body language, 15% tonality, 7% words. That was the first thing, right? And then the second thing was, oh, damn it. Good luck.